What if I told you that one of Hollywood's most famous divorces has taken a darker turn? One that involves secret phone calls, private messages, and the threat of exposing years of buried conversations. Because that's exactly what's happening right now between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. What started as a messy split has turned into a legal chess match where every voicemail could become ammunition. For years, the world has watched their story unfold, from red carpet royalty to courtroom drama. They were the perfect couple, or at least that's what everyone thought. Angelina Jolie, the humanitarian icon, and Brad Pitt, the ultimate leading man, seemed unstoppable. But after their shocking separation in 2016, everything changed. The custody fight over their 6 children dragged on for years, filled with tension, allegations, and emotional battles that made headlines around the world. But just when things seemed to calm down, something new surfaced, and this time, it's about the private phone calls that could rewrite the entire narrative. According to multiple reports, Brad Pitt's legal team is now demanding access to a wide range of communications from Jolie, everything from phone records to voice messages and even third-party texts. The reason? To strengthen their case in the ongoing dispute over Chateau Maraval, the French winery the couple once owned together. But insiders say this isn't just about business. Pitt's side believes those calls might contain details that challenge Jolie's version of events from years ago, especially surrounding their explosive 2016 plane incident. Now, if you followed this story, you know that the 2016 flight from France to Los Angeles was the breaking point for their marriage. What exactly happened on that plane has been the subject of countless rumors, reports, and investigations. While details remain murky, that single night became the cornerstone of their split. Jolie cited it in her filings, and Pitt has long denied any wrongdoing. But here's where it gets wild. Sources claim that some of the phone calls between the two around that time could reveal conversations that were never meant to see the light of day. Pitt's team argues that these private communications could expose inconsistencies in Jolie's timeline of events. They're not just after random messages, they're reportedly focused on specific communications related to the plane, their legal negotiations, and the alleged NDA Pitt asked Jolie to sign before selling her shares of their winery. Jolie's lawyers, however, are calling these demands aggressive and intrusive, claiming that Pitt's side is using legal tactics to intimidate her into silence. They say this has nothing to do with the winery and everything to do with control. And this is where things start getting even more personal. Angelina Jolie has publicly accused Brad Pitt of trying to silence her through that NDA, an agreement she says would have prevented her from discussing his alleged behavior. According to her filings, she refused to sign it, sold her half of the winery to a third party, and walked away. Pitt responded with a lawsuit claiming that Jolie's sale violated their prior agreement and that she intentionally sold her stake to damage his reputation. Now, the court is being asked to determine who's really telling the truth, and those secret phone calls could be the missing piece. Imagine being in their shoes. Years after a public breakup, every private conversation, every voicemail, every late-night argument could end up as courtroom evidence. For Jolie, that means her words could be dissected, quoted, and taken out of context. For Pitt, it means risking whatever those calls actually reveal about his own behavior during one of the most turbulent periods of his life. Both sides have something to lose, and both know it. But this fight isn't just about their past. It's also about money, legacy, and image. Chateau Maraval isn't some small business. It's a multi-million-dollar brand, known globally and still earning massive profits. For Pitt, who continues to manage and promote the winery, keeping control isn't just about business, it's about pride. For Jolie, walking away was supposed to mean freedom, but instead, it's become another battleground. Her team argues that Pitt has weaponized the winery dispute to keep her tied up in court. His side insists she's using the legal system to damage his credibility. And in the middle of it all are those mysterious calls. Now let's talk about why these phone calls matter so much. In most legal disputes, communication records are standard, but in this case, they could expose years of behind-the-scenes conversations, private talks between Jolie, Pitt, and possibly other people connected to their family and business. Pitt's team reportedly believes that these calls will show Jolie's intent to hurt his reputation. Jolie's side believes it's a fishing expedition designed to embarrass her. Either way, it's a dangerous game. Once those records are in the courtroom, they become public. And if any of those calls are emotional, heated, or contradictory, the media will tear them apart. And that's not all. Insiders close to the situation claim that Pitt's attorneys have hinted they might have their own recordings or evidence that could come into play if Jolie's communications are admitted. That means both sides might be holding back information, waiting for the other to make the first move. It's a standoff, one that could expose far more than either of them wants the world to see. For a couple that once valued their privacy, it's ironic how their most intimate conversations might become headline material. Behind the legal arguments and filings, though, there's something even deeper, a story about two people who once built a life together and are now dismantling it piece by piece. Jolie has said she wants the fighting to end, emphasizing that her main focus is protecting their children. Pitt has remained quieter in public but continues to push forward legally, insisting he's simply defending his name and property. Yet every new motion, every new demand, just drags both of them back into the spotlight they once tried to escape. What makes this situation so fascinating and tragic is how much it's evolved. What began as a family issue has turned into corporate warfare. The custody battle has morphed into a struggle over a luxury brand, and love letters have been replaced with legal filings. The calls that were once personal could now decide millions of dollars and reshape both of their public images. And as court dates approach, fans and media outlets are watching closely for any leaked details. So what happens next? If Pitt's team succeeds in obtaining Jolie's communications, we might finally see some of those conversations surface in court documents. If Jolie's team blocks the request, the fight will likely continue for months, possibly years. Either outcome guarantees one thing: this battle is far from over. The only certainty is that both stars are risking their legacies for control, and the fallout could redefine how Hollywood handles high-profile splits in the future. But maybe the bigger question here is what this says about privacy in the age of celebrity. When private messages can become public evidence, does anyone truly have control over their own story? Jolie and Pitt aren't just fighting each other, they're fighting the weight of public perception, the endless appetite for scandal, and the fear that the world might only ever see one version of the truth. At the end of the day, these so-called secret phone calls are more than just legal evidence. They're a symbol of how far things have gone between two people who once had everything. They're a reminder that even in Hollywood, where image is everything, the truth has a way of surfacing one voicemail at a time. And that's where things stand for now. The court battles continue, the documents keep coming, and somewhere out there, those phone calls might still exist, waiting to be revealed. So the question is, when they finally are, whose story will they really tell? Because in a fight like this, there are no winners, only survivors. If you want to stay updated as this story unfolds, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below with what you think. Is this just another legal move, or is Brad Pitt really about to expose Angelina Jolie's biggest secret yet?